This is How Curious from KGOU, exploring your questions about Oklahoma. I'm Claire Donnelly. Has this ever happened to you? You're out running errands, driving around, and checking things off your to-do list. You pull into the parking lot of a store, and it's closed because it's Sunday. KGOU listener John Potts noticed this about one kind of Oklahoma business.
I find it very curious that every auto dealership is closed on Sunday. And that's a huge day for sales, and I don't know why that is.
Potts asked How Curious, why are all of the state's car dealerships closed this one day of the week?
I'm sure the owners of the dealership would love to be open on Sundays. They don't want to miss a deal. The big money.
Bob Bryce is a sales manager at Automax Hyundai in Norman.
Yeah, we work 70 hours a week as it is, so put in 14, 15-hour days, 6 days a week. So I mean, we need a break like anybody else. I mean, Sunday's a day for the Lord and football.
Plus, it's illegal under Oklahoma law. Specifically, Section 918 of Chapter 36 of the state's criminal code, which says, and I'm paraphrasing, people are prohibited from selling, bartering, or exchanging motor vehicles, whether new, used, or secondhand, on the first day of the week, commonly called Sunday. Colorado and a handful of other states have similar statutes. They're known as blue laws.
Blue laws have been around for centuries. So, I mean, they actually go back at least as far as the Roman period, where the Roman emperors had edicts proscribing certain activities on days of worship.
David LeBand is a retired economics professor. He wrote a book on blue laws in 2008.
And they've been here in the United States since, certainly pre-Revolutionary War in the 1600s. They would be things like you could not plow your fields on Sunday. You could not travel from one state to another, unless you had completed your worship for that week.
LeBand says no one is quite sure where the term blue law came from.
One of the speculations is that some of the earliest of the Sunday restrictions were actually printed on blue paper.
But he says that's never been proven. Another theory is the name refers to laws that encourage true blue or faithful behavior. According to the Oklahoma History Center, every U.S. state except for California had enacted blue laws by 1931, although it's worth noting there were only 48 states back then. Some legislation banned sporting events and alcohol and tobacco sales on Sunday. Others prohibited things like boxing, bingo, movie theaters, and raffles. Certain states made it illegal to serve warrants and subpoenas on Sunday.
You can't buy a hammer on Sunday, but you can buy nails on Sunday. These laws were written very specifically to encompass certain kinds of things that were not available, to be purchased on Sunday, or certain kinds of behavior that could not be engaged in on Sunday.
LeBand says there hasn't been extensive research on why states passed these specific laws. Oklahoma has had blue laws since its days as a territory, before it became a state. A statute banning so-called Sabbath breaking appears to still be on the books. It's separate from the law banning Sunday car sales and is reportedly punishable by a $25 fine. Authorities used to cite residents under this law. In January 1958, Midwest City Chevrolet dealer Paul Hudeberg and 9 salesmen were accused of Sunday selling. Several years later, groups like the Oklahoma Retail Merchants Association and the Save Our Sundays Committee petitioned for a law that would require all businesses to close either Saturday or Sunday of each week, but their efforts failed. Many states have gradually repealed their blue laws, which LeBand says could be connected to the changing role of religion in American society. He says church attendance and church membership has been declining in the U.S. since at least the middle of the 20th century.
With that decline in religiosity has surely also come a decline in people who would fight removing blue laws in the legislatures.
Now, back to listener John Potts' question about car dealerships. They can't legally be open on Sundays. Back at Automax Hyundai, Jerry Fairchild says he's not sure whether that's hurting business.
I think, with church and there's a lot of, sporting events and stuff on Sundays. I just don't think that people would be out buying cars. Now, they could be. I don't know.
Fairchild says some customers use Sunday as a day to walk around the car lot without being bothered by salespeople. Sherrod Cravens remembers doing that before the internet.
After hours, we go and we park and we just walk the lot and look at all the vehicles, read the stickers and things like that.
Cravens is a marketing instructor at the University of Oklahoma.
I think if you were going to choose a day to be closed, Sunday would probably be the better day of the 7, just based on decades of experience as a consumer marketer.
Cravens says consumers, including car shoppers, usually adjust their habits around when stores are open or when they have time to make a big decision.
It's not something you're just going to do on one particular day of the week, right? It's something that you're going to research, you're going to think about, right? And so there's a much longer timeline into the decision, and it's much more involved versus just going to purchase your groceries, right? So if you're making a car purchase, you're probably either going to take a day off or a half day off and plan to go.
He says car dealerships' biggest sales days are holidays, like Memorial Day and the 4th of July. Plus, the market for cars is shifting. Brands like Carvana let consumers buy a car online and pick it up from a car vending machine or have it delivered.
You don't need to go to the store. And if you watch their creative executions, how they bring their point of difference to the consumer is that you can shop in your pajamas in your bed while you're watching Netflix.
So whether Oklahoma's Sunday laws stay on the books or not, people will probably spend their Sundays however they want, whether that's online shopping, snooping around a car lot, or indulging in some Netflix. That's it for this episode of How Curious. The show is a production of KGOU Radio. It's produced by me, Claire Donnelly, and this episode was edited by Caroline Halter. David Gray composed our theme music. You can email your Oklahoma questions to curious@kgou.org.